It's a very exciting recipe and very unique in its character. One of a kind. Once you have this cabbage sabzi, you might not feel like having cabbage cooked by anyone else. This is the chopped cabbage. There is some capsicum also in that.
About how many
And,
cups? Like 2.5 cups?
Yeah, this is the amount of cabbage that you end up having in 1 year. So, I mean, you specifically. So,
But this is for how many people?
this is for two people one for one meal.
Okay.
So I think we ideally need a little bit of potato also, but I think now we are going to be adding some carrot if we don't have potatoes. I mean we do have, but right now I think we'll have to chop it and take some time. So
And what do we have going here?
so in the pan we are just going to saute the cabbage. It's a fairly simple recipe, and the trick to this recipe is that you don't need to add too many masalas. It has to be like a very simple, straightforward, less spice and less spices sabzi, because otherwise you do end up adding a lot of spices, which kills the original taste of vegetable. So this is going to be the exact opposite of it, and the simpler it is, the better it tastes. You can actually get the flavor of the vegetable rather than the flavor of the spices. So that's what makes it different. We'll obviously add like all the basic spices. The chili and chili powder, that's about it, but not too much, nothing extravagant. And like the claim that once you have this, you might not end up having cabbage at all from anyone else. You might summon me and pay me an exorbitant amount just to have this cabbage. So today is the day of fasting. Not that my sister eats too much otherwise, but since today is the day of fasting, this vegetable will be consumed only by me and dad and no one else.
So what do we have here already?
So there are carrots.
No, in the oil?
So in the oil, this is
Curry leaves?
this is coconut. Sorry, this is groundnut oil, I believe, and some curry leaves. We are going to add. So I just added the carrots directly in the pan. They are getting sauteed. Ideally, they need to be boiled, but we don't have the time for it. So we'll add some directly one whole chili and then other chopped chilies. So since we are not going to add too many extra spices, I think we can add some more chilies to this.
Okay.
So as you can see,
no other spice other than chili?
no, we are going to add a little bit of some spices. There are like some 20 spices here in the drawer. So we'll add as in what we feel is right. So cooking is all about your own gut feeling rather than looking at the recipe and making anything. So you can see. So now we'll add all the basic spices, which includes some salt and haldi,
Okay.
which is required for cabbage. Extra haldi, we can add some mustard seeds, jeera, and some red chili powder, but not much. And of course, the most important thing, salt. And the trick is to keep stirring the pot. There is no need of, yeah, of course, we can add some onion also. Sorry, so some lasun. नाही राहू दे मामा, कढी नका चेंज करू आता. काहीतरी थोडं. We can increase the flame a little bit since we are stirring it. These are the small tricks that one should know. But some of the cooks here are not as efficient as me, so they wouldn't know these small tricks. So they can learn from me.
So keep stirring while what? Keep stirring. What?
Yeah, keep stirring the pot so that at the same time the spices get mixed nicely. And
It's smelling good.
yeah, of course. So now we take a look at the spice drawer and see what else we can look to add. It's all about the EPT coffee. So whatever we flavor finger on, we can use that. Dhana jeera powder, jeera powder. So I think dhana jeera powder is okay. We can add a little bit of jeera powder. No, so I prefer to add only the jeera powder because that is what I feel like today. There is no other reason. So see, that is what I'm trying to tell you. Cooking is all about your gut feeling and what you feel for like adding instantaneously rather than a well thought over recipe. That is what makes it an original kind of a cooking method. So we have added just carrots.
Somebody's
so
asking about
vegetable.
your Rudraksh. Somebody has joined our live and they're asking about your Rudraksh
So the
bead
video
that you
I
have
would like
here.
to add that this is not about the Rudra. It's just a ornamental accessory that's there without any purpose. Because
They're asking about the
I'm
price
not-
for the Rudraksh.
oh,
How much did you pay?
So if you were to ask more religiously inclined people, they would say it's priceless. But for me, it is just another accessory which I have been pushed into wearing.
Who gave you that?
I think my mother asked me to wear it, hoping that it will bring me good luck and help me find a nice girl.
So mom, how much is the price for that? Do you remember? She doesn't remember.
So now we've added the cabbage. If you see, you can focus back on the recipe. I think
Okay.
the oil is a bit less, so
We'll add more oil?
Yeah, a little bit more oil. The cabbage also, this is like a very finely chopped cabbage. Not that it makes a difference to the taste, but I prefer it to be broadly chopped and not finely chopped. But you see now, this is there is no gravy in this. It's a dry vegetable, so I think we need a little bit of oil to go with all the spices. Yeah.
Okay.
So now we have added some oil just to give it that extra layer of cushion so that it doesn't dry up as we are cooking. I have reduced the flame and we now let it cook for maybe a few minutes. So lid come up. Now? So now I think we have added all the stuff, all the required spices and other accessories. You can see the tinge of green also giving it a nice look as well, very appealing, and the red of the carrot giving it that variety in terms of the look at least, and also maybe a little bit of taste. I have not added too many capsicum pieces.
So instead of water, you added oil.
Yeah, so this is not a gravy vegetable, it's a dry vegetable.
Right.
So of course, you do not know the functionality of oil, considering the less amount of oil or minimal amount of oil that you
Look here.
have to use. But this is a regular diet in an Indian home where people use oil and it's not unhealthy at all. So here we have the lid with the newly placed knob so that it becomes easier to lift it. So now you can see that the vegetable is already looking nice, and we'll see how it tastes in just a bit. And we are going to put the lid and keep it on a slow burn. Just add some water on top for reasons that I don't know. And peas, so there are some peas also which if you wanted we could have added, but now I think we go ahead without it.
We can add now.
So that is the brilliant cabbage vegetable for those who like the creator of this video who might be having limited culinary skills. I think this vegetable can go a long way in increasing your repertoire of what you can cook. And now we'll wait for another maybe 3 to 4 minutes or maybe 5 minutes. You can see that the oil is already separating from the vegetable. That means the spices are well mixed and the vegetable is nearly cooked. I think we have fallen a little short on the haldi. That's why it's looking whitish. But as you can see, or rather as you can smell, it's tasting one of its kind. And I think the person shooting the video can take some tips from me at a high price. I'll be more than happy to share them. So I think we'll wait for another 3 to 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, and I think the vegetable is good to go. And we have our tiffins also ready for the day. So once it's cooked, we'll just pack it, and our lunch is ready. Thank you very much.
Alright. Looks good.
YouTube live. मला माहिती होतं YouTube मध्ये पण live आहे.